Why are we talking about solar power? What is so important for policy making when it comes to solar power? There are many reasons, there are many flaws, and there are many possibilities. We'll discuss all of them. Hi, this is RN Bhaskar, and this is the channel called Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. I've given this podcast in Hindi before, and this is my first podcast in English. Many podcasts in English will follow hereafter. The first announcement was in 2008 June when the government talked about the need to have a solar policy. The next announcement was in January 2010 when the government talked about the National Solar Mission. Nothing happened thereafter. Then, in 2014, 10th June, the government actually talked about rooftop solar, which is crucial for India. We'll explain later. And then government, the present Prime Minister, went to London and there he talked about the International Solar Alliance in November 2015. Big plans talked about, little materialized. And that which materialized was not really crucial for India. And then in 2017, we had the wonderful Tripura experience, which the government does not talk about. What happened in Tripura? Well, in 2017, the government of Tripura was told that every house must get electricity. And Biplab Kumar Deb, who was then the Chief Minister of Tripura, did a survey. And he found that all houses could be electrified except 50,000 houses. So he asked the engineers why. And the engineer said, sir, they're up in the hills, sir. It'll be difficult putting the wires up to there. How much time will it take? He said, at least 2 to 3 years, maybe even more. So what's the solution? His engineer said, rooftop solar. So he flew to Delhi, met the Union Power Minister, R.K. Singh, and told R.K. Singh, I need rooftop solar for 50,000 houses. And R.K. Singh said, that's sorry, we have budget only for grid power, no budget for rooftop solar. And Biplab Kumar Deb said, sir, you don't have to be in elections, I have to. I need rooftop solar. If you don't have the budget, I will spend money from the state. And the Power Minister said, okay, fine. Give me an affidavit that you will not take any money from the government of India. He got his Chief Secretary to prepare an affidavit, sent, and he went back and he gave orders that all 50,000 houses be given rooftop solar. It was done in 6 months' time. And lo and behold, everyone was happy. The government was happy because it met the target. The government was happy also because of another reason. Each rooftop solar cost him 50,000 rupees. If he had provided grid power to the houses, it would have cost him 5 lakh per house. 1/10 the price. And the people were happy because solar power was more reliable than grid power. There were no power shortages, there were no power cuts, there was no load shedding, and there was no linesman cutting the wire and asking for some money for the reconnection. Most of all, the state also realized once solar power was there was no annual subsidy required. Everyone got the power they needed. Everything was fine, but the government did not talk about this success. India has a huge potential for solar power. According to data available, India has a total potential of 748.98 gigawatts at peak capacity. What does 749 gigawatts mean? To understand that, let us look at the installed capacity of power in India. You find that total thermal power installed capacity is 237.27 gigawatts. You find that the total renewable capacity that is installed is 173.61 gigawatts. The total installed capacity of coal as well as renewables is 417.7 gigawatts. Compare this number with the total potential of 749 gigawatts. You find that India does not need coal. India can cover the whole country with solar power. But we've not done it. And one of the reasons is that there's a mismatch between potential and actual installation of solar power. Look at the states with the largest potential of solar power. You find there's Rajasthan with 142 gigawatts. Jammu and Kashmir surprisingly is number 2 at 111 gigawatts. And Maharashtra is number 3 with 64 gigawatts. Gujarat comes way down. It comes at number 5. But now look at what the government has done. It has allowed more solar power to come up in Gujarat, pushing it up to number 2. And Maharashtra, which has the second largest potential, has been pushed out. And why has that been possible? For several reasons. One is that in India, rooftop solar has been ignored. Why is rooftop solar important? To understand that, you have to study Germany. In 2000, Germany got a Green Party. And the power minister then was Hermann Scheer. Hermann Scheer studied the situation and he realized that with just a fraction of the incentives that had been given to coal and gas, he could transform the world with solar power. How? He made a policy announcement saying that houses which are north-south facing could have rooftop solar. But people didn't want to spend. So he said, doesn't matter. The state will give you the solar panels for the houses that are facing north-south. Why north-south? Because the north-south facing house gets sun from the east, gets sun from the west. An east-west facing house gets sun either from the east or the west. To make the policy better, Hermann Scheer did one more thing. He said, you don't have to install it. I will install it for you. And what is more, use whatever solar power you want free of cost. And whatever surplus that you do not use, I will buy it from you and pay you some money. Many people loved this. First, they would not have to pay for the solar power installation. Second, someone else would maintain it and make sure that it was working perfectly. 3, he could use the power free of cost. And 4, the surplus power could be sold to the state and he would get some money. To make that possible, Hermann Scheer created what I call the middle layer. The middle layer was the installer, was the electrician, was the person who would maintain the inverters and the electrical connections. And he would also maintain a log of how much power was consumed and how much was the surplus power that was sold to the state. He called this the FIT, the feed-in tariff, the first time in the world. And within a year, many countries around the world adopted FIT. In 2008, he realized more people were employed in the solar power industry, especially rooftop solar, than even the automobile industry, which was a backbone for Germany. When he said this, I was astonished. And I wrote to the government in 2010 saying that, look, you have an opportunity. India has more solar power potential than Germany. India has more people than Germany. More people means more houses means more rooftop. India should adopt rooftop solar. And we did a back of the envelope calculations and found that India could generate at least 80 million jobs within 2 years if it adopted rooftop solar. As we saw before, the government forgot rooftop solar and focused instead on solar farms. Solar farms are utility-grade, large expanses of solar panels which don't create jobs, which occupy land. And you wonder why. And then the penny drops. You realize that solar farms are a very good excuse for grabbing land at throwaway prices by the government. 5 years later, 10 years later, the solar panels go 10 feet higher, 20 feet higher. And you can have a warehouse below, you can have a shop below, you can do whatever you want. You got land at throwaway prices. And that is why when you study solar power, you find that states where the land prices are highest have more solar farms. States where land prices are lowest have fewer solar farms. In Jammu and Kashmir, where you can't buy land, there's little solar power. this no rooftop solar, which is ideal for Jammu and Kashmir. There are some other problems that come up. The government talks of promoting solar power, but it's imposed import duties of 40% and 25%, and also GST, making the ultimate cost of solar power at least 70% higher than what it should be. Effectively, you're penalizing customers who want to bring in a national strategic advantage to the country. That's a wrong policy. There's another problem. Prime Minister Modi talked of giving solar power to 1 crore houses. But India needs 20 crore houses. Why are you talking 1 crore? Is it to create a shortage mentality? Is it to create a black market? Is it to create a lottery system? Why don't you keep it free for everybody the way we've allowed farming? In farming, drip irrigation subsidies are available to anyone who's got land. If you've got a roof, the state should allow it. Why put a quota? That's wrong policy again. And there's a third wrong policy. Prime Minister Modi's scheme of 1 crore houses with solar rooftop has a pricing of 75,000 rupees per unit. Please remember that in 2017, when Biplab Kumar Deb put up solar rooftops on 50,000 houses, the price is 50,000 rupees each house. Why the difference at 25,000? When you're taking 1 crore houses, 25,000, the difference becomes 25,000 crore. That is a huge amount. And the fact is that if you look at the chart, solar prices have been falling and they've continued to fall even after 2017. The price today should be less than 50,000 and not 75,000. And that is why I think solar needs a relook. India needs to refocus its attention on rooftop solar as a national priority to reduce its import of oil and gas. Thank you for watching. Do click the subscribe button and do listen to other podcasts of mine.